Colonel Wilkerson regarding the act that created the CIA 1947 to 1948 from the book JFK and the Unspeakable, Why He Died and Why It Matters. Quote from the book: before the act was passed, Secretary of State George Marshall warned President Truman that it granted the new intelligence agency in particular powers that were almost unlimited, a criticism of the CIA that Truman, as you mentioned in your presentation, would echo much too late, soon after the assassination of John Kennedy. Marty Schatz often makes the point that it is time for concerned citizens to realize we have all the evidence we need to condemn those institutions that are protagonists for the unspeakable, basically the bad attitude or the void of compassion, an attitude that the masses seem to be unaware of or have been lulled into passivity. There's no shortage of evidence of the bad attitude that promotes regime change and endless war to conquer all territories and markets, like the games of risk and monopoly, as Professor Jeffrey Sachs has described our culture to be. Your thoughts, please, on the CIA, the unspeakable, and any visionary ideas on how we might mobilize concerned citizens right now without further delay to operationalize compassion. Thank you.
Well, those are excellent comments, and it's an excellent question. I just had an opportunity this morning to explain to a friend of mine who's been out of government for some time, when he tried to tell me how the chain of command works with regard to direct action, which is the most brutal and corrupt and, in my view, illegal thing the agency does. And I had to clue him in. Most Americans have no idea, for example, how the operation in Abbottabad, Pakistan, to take out bin Laden was conducted. It is standard operating procedure today, and it became that way right after 9/11. The CIA uses the military. They don't do direct action anymore, because if they do, they have to, by constitutional prerogative and direction, report to their oversight committees, the SIPC, the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, and the House Select Committee on Intelligence. So how do they get away with that? They go to SEAL Team 6 or some other very sophisticated special operating force in the military, and they give them the orders to do it with the National Security Council's permission, of course. And that means maybe the president, maybe the National Security Advisor, maybe the Deputy National Security Advisor, maybe a senior director on the NSC. Think Oliver North and John Poindexter in Iran-Contra. And then they carry it out. So not only is it as bad as Harry ever envisioned it being, today it is brutally stupid, insane, and so out of sync with what most Americans would say they stand for that it's cruel. Now, the second part of your question is what to do. Get rid of it. I think Jack Kennedy was maybe apocryphally, I doubt it, quoted saying it, the CIA after the Bay of Pigs, which the CIA used to burn him, the CIA ought to be broken up into 100,000 pieces and scattered to the winds, or some statement to that effect. I agree with him 100%. Should have been done a long time ago, and would be a lot harder to do today because they have so much power. They built up power in the Congress. They built up power in the bureaucracy elsewhere. And they built up power the same way J. Edgar Hoover built up power. They have a file on everyone. I wonder who killed Epstein in prison, Mossad or CIA? My money would be on CIA. So I don't have an answer for how you get rid of it, except by having the American people elect some people to the Congress who would take umbrage at what the CIA is doing now. And by the way, in my experience with talking to members of Congress, there are none of them that know what I just told you. I doubt that there's 1% of Americans who know how the military and the CIA are lashed up today to keep both of them from oversight in the constitutionally approved process. They are linked at the hip. not the entire military, the Special Operations Command and the especially SEAL Team 6 and the other very sophisticated special operating forces. These people are killing people in your name and my name, and often without anyone knowing anything about it except maybe 3 or 4 people on the National Security Council, maybe not even the president, particularly if the president, like Dwight Eisenhower did a couple of times with Allen Dulles, says, don't tell me, don't tell me, meaning just get it done, but don't tell me. Your question is relevant, but I don't know what to do about it.
Okay, thank you.